Hi, my name's Tyler, aka Thrifts and Tangles. Today is National Composting Day, and composting is something I've been wanting to do for the longest. I feel like I've been very wasteful with my food, and composting is definitely a great way to kind of combat that. But I don't really know much about composting, so I thought we could maybe go on a journey together to learn. And then this video is in collaboration with my friend Flo from The Blended Beauty, and she's going to also be talking about composting. So be sure to check out her video. I'll put the link in the bio. So since we're learning together, the first thing I know we need for composting is we need some kind of container to keep our food scraps in. And so I ended up buying this container by Full Circle. It's like a silicone kind of thing. It's tiny, it's compact, perfect for my small apartment. And I'm just going to be keeping this in the freezer. So the first step is figure out what kind of container you are going to keep your food in. And if you are in a small apartment, I think finding an option that fits in the freezer is a great thing because it's going to prevent the scraps from stinking up your apartment, and it's just like practical. Like, this is the perfect size. Okay, so once you get your container, you have to figure out like what can I compost? What can I put in here? So apparently some of the things you could put in a compost are you could put fruits and veggie scraps. So as you can see, I currently have an apple scrap in there. I had this from a smoothie and it's been in there for 4 days now, but because it was in the freezer, it's actually not even that brown. So that's nice because once I add more foods and it starts mixing together, it's not going to be stinking up my whole apartment. But you don't have to only compost foods. You can compost loose leaf teas, you can compost nutshells, eggshells, cardboard rolls, cereal boxes, shredded newspapers, paper towels, yard clippings, pencil shavings, cooked rice, coffee grounds, and filters. You can also compost stale crackers, cereal, and bread. So you can compost a whole lot of things. So since we're learning together, I pulled up the EPA's site to see what you should not compost. So some things you should not compost are dairy products. So no butter, milk, sour cream, yogurt, those kind of things. No eggs, although eggshells are okay. No fats, grease, lard, or oils. No meat bones or fish bones or any meat scraps. And no pet waste, so no dog or cat feces. And no yard trimmings treated with chemical pesticides. So if you live in a small apartment like me, once your little compost container is full, all you have to do is figure out what places in your area collect compost. There's a lot of community farms who will collect your food scraps and all these things, but there are some sites that will help you figure out where the heck you should take this thing once it's filled, especially if you don't have something in your backyard where you can actually do the composting. So some sites you can check to figure out where to donate your scraps is you could check earth911.com, and you can also check EPA.gov. And there's probably a ton of places in your area who will collect these scraps for you. So you may be asking yourself, what's the point? Like, why would you even compost when you could just throw your food away? Well, when you throw food away into landfills, it doesn't decompose correctly and it releases methane gas, and it doesn't break down like it should. It's just like piled on top of each other. It doesn't have the right elements to decompose. So it might take longer to decompose if it ever even decomposes, right? So I think composting is a great way to just make sure the food scraps that you have or other things we'll dive into actually break down correctly and don't just sit in the landfill, releasing gases that are not good for our environment. Also, composting is really good because you can just make fertilizer and fertilize your gardens, and it's like a continuous cycle rather than you just throwing the food in the landfill and then it just sitting there. Like, you can literally help fertilize gardens, and I'm like, why not? So let me show you this thing in action. So the composting thing I got has this little thing on the back, which is really nice because I can just hang it on the drawer. And that way, when I am cutting things like on a cutting board, I can just kind of chop, 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 and then slide it into the container. And then when I'm done, I literally just throw it in the freezer. And so it fits. This thing is, because it's silicone, I can kind of collapse it and squeeze it into my freezer, and it fits right there. And my freezer is not very big, so this is literally the perfect size. And there you go. In about a week, I think every week I'll probably dump this out. I will go to my local farmer's market, donate my scraps, and then start over for the next week. So it seems very easy. I might do an update video if you're interested to show you how composting has gone, and let me know if you compost. And also be sure to check out the Blended Beauties video to hear what she has to share about composting. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.